Success looks so easy from the outside, but all successful people have had to overcome enormous obstacles along the way, and in many cases, look failure right in the eye. Most successful people don't focus on the struggle, and rarely do they talk about it because, quite frankly, that's not what creates success. Join us here where we will chat with fierce female entrepreneurs and share the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship, and talk about the obstacles we have faced and how you can overcome them to reach the success that you desire. I am your host, Kamie Lehmann, and this is the She's Invincible podcast. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. And I am so excited to introduce you to our fourth and final Invincible one on this show. Oh my gosh, this is Carina Hatton. Oh, this Carina, let me just tell you. First of all, welcome. Welcome, Carina. Congratulations on your brand new podcast. I am so excited for you.
I can't believe that you just said that. I mean, my brand new podcast, it's something that I've wanted for a long time, but I just had absolutely no idea how to do it.
And here you are, the brand new podcast host, and you stepped into another level of greatness here. And I'm so excited for you. And, just to tell our listeners a little background, I met Carina through a podcast agency who places guests on top-rated podcasts. And I do work exclusively with agents, and Carina came through, and I just loved everything about her. And you're going to know that as a podcaster, right? You see someone come through and you're like, I need to talk to this one. And then you just can't wait. And that was really how I felt when I looked over your sheet. And I was so excited to talk to you and learn about what you were doing. And it was just a reminder to me of how we can monetize our businesses through podcasting. And, it's so fun because for us, it works both ways. Like, you jumped in and started your own podcast. And as soon as we get through this launch, I'm going to jump into your program. And, so it's like we have proven the system works just between the two of us, if anyone had any doubt. But it was so great to have you on the She's Invincible podcast. You truly are invincible. I thought that before, but then as I saw you go through these last 30 days, I was 100% positive, no doubt. I'm like, this girl is invincible. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through this. But right now, I would love for you to tell our listeners who you are and tell us a little bit about your business.
Which business? The coaching business?
All of it. You go from 20 years ago. Tell us that business. And then tell us, because that's so fun too.
So no one can believe that I actually own a donut shop. So I have a donut shop I bought back in 2003. It's a franchise and I still have it today, 19 years later. So it does almost $1 million a year in sales, which no one can believe. When I tell them it's a donut shop, I think they're thinking, oh, like donuts, there's no money in that. So I've been a small business owner for a very long time, had some other businesses in between then and now that didn't work out, thankfully, because if they had, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, which is my groove. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that I know is why that didn't work out. Let's see, 2013, I started my online boutique, took it to 7 figures in sales. 2019, I had never really listened to a podcast before. And so I ran into a podcast and then I listened to it and I thought, I'm going to see what else is out there. And I searched business and I came across a lady who ended up being my first coach. And that was in 2019. And she said, why don't you start a coaching business and teach ladies how to do what you did with your boutique, taking it to 7 figures? And at the time, I kind of thought, what in the world is she talking about? It was so foreign to me. And so I actually am really coachable, and I just did what I was told. Everything she did or said to do, I did. And that's what got me here today. So today I have over 100 women in my coaching program. I teach ladies how to open and how to scale. So it's not just for beginners, but I do have a strong knack for helping people that have absolutely no business experience at all. It is so much fun. And so I got another coach, a more expensive coach. And they said, in order to grow your business, you have to put yourself out there and you have to speak to people. And I thought, oh my gosh, there is no way I'm going to speak to people. I mean, I do not want to get on a stage. I'm more of I'm half introvert, half extrovert, right? But when you tell me I have to be the center of attention, I just kind of like crawl back into my shell. And so because they said to do it and I'm coachable, I did it. And so I hired an agency and I got the max package I could get because I'm all in, right? And so that's where I met Kamie. And, after we talked, Kamie said, you should think about doing your own podcast. And it was funny when you said that, Kamie, because I'd been wanting to for a long time, but I just had absolutely no idea how to do it. And so I took that as my sign. And me being coachable, I've done hopefully exactly what Kamie has said to do. And even though it's been challenging, it's been an extra layer of stuff to do on top of my normal business things. But when it's a priority, you make time. And so we've been working really hard to make this podcast launch in 30 days, which is insane. And that's part of it. What I loved most about it actually was the fact that Kamie said, you're going to do this in 30 days and here's your launch date. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. Because think back to if you went to college or something and you had that big research paper due and you had a deadline, right? So you made it happen. And so my favorite thing was the deadline. So
I love that.
Yeah. And I told everyone, hey, my podcast is launching on this date. And they're like, what? First of all, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I'm just going to do what I'm told. So here we are.
Oh, Carina, that's amazing. What a great story. So you just set the stage. Tell us the name of your podcast, why you selected that name, and what people can expect. Why do they want to run to your podcast? What are they going to learn? Tell them all about it.
So my podcast is called Crushes Ecom, and I love visual words. And I think crushes, whenever I say it, it makes me think about something, visual, like you can see it, and that's what's called She Crushes Ecom, because this is for women. This is a podcast for women. Women are who I work with. I have no men in my program. Not that they're bad. It's just my vibe, that I do best in is working with women. And ecom is because that is the latest way to do business. It has really taken off in the last few years. It was big before. It's been bigger in the last couple of years, and it's going to continue to grow. And there's room for everybody. So that's why She Crushes Ecom. We're not out here just to hang out and see if it works. We are actually crushing it. We know it works, and we're doing the thing every single day. So that's what the name is. The topics are going to be female fun, fashion, and financial freedom. And the financial freedom is kind of my favorite part because I'm a numbers person, and I really feel like you have to understand your numbers to be successful. And so while we're going to have fun and do the social media and talk about starting a boutique and things like that, we're also going to dive into the numbers, cash flow, budgets, how to price, how to buy products, and the really important stuff that will determine if you're still in business, 3 years later. I can't remember the statistic. I know it's changed. Back when I was in college, they used to say that 90% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. I think that's changed a little bit now. I think it's lower. I think 30% fail, which is very interesting to me, but that's another subject, but that's probably something we're going to talk about on the podcast, is why is that? I think that people maybe are starting to understand that the numbers are super important. And even if they're scary, you still have to do it. And so, and plus I love finance. That's actually a minor I have a master's degree and I minored in finance. So, if you're worried about stuff like that, understanding it, this would be a great place for you to come and actually have fun learning the numbers.
So my next question was, what made you decide to start a podcast? It sounds like you had already decided it was what you wanted to do. You just hadn't made the connection yet with someone that could help you do it. So is that true? And is there anything else you want to add?
I would say it was kind of a one of those bucket list things, like someday I'll do that. It wasn't in my near future until my coach said, you will go put yourself out there or you will not hit the numbers that you want to hit for your coaching business. So that moved it up on my list. So because, I would say the most important thing is doing what you're told. When you pay coaches, you actually need to do what they say. So I was just so lucky to run into Kamie. Honestly, if I hadn't run into Kamie, I wouldn't have started a podcast just because I don't have time to figure everything out myself.
I love that. Okay. So what was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome in this whole process?
I would say the time management, because like I said, I'm running a donut shop, an online boutique, a coaching company, and adding that layer on top of it was challenging. And so Kamie, I laugh every time I think about this. Kamie said, "No man left behind." And it's true. She does not leave you behind, because I was drowning even just a few days ago and Kamie's texting me at 9:00 at night. I can hear you gurgling. I know you're drowning over there. So I just love the no man left behind. I mean, I think we're kindred spirits, honestly. Just time, but you don't have to worry about that because you'll have the support to get it done, even when you don't have the time.
I love that. And Carina, I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things that I wanted to say about you and your experience that I saw was that you had a family situation that caused you to start a week late. So as we're like really emphasizing that you started a podcast in 30 days, it was really like 30 days minus 7.
Yeah, so exactly.
You did it in 23 days. So, so I just really want to give you the kudos today of like, oh my gosh, like you really whipped it out. You don't only crush ecom, but you crushed the podcast because you were able to pull that out. And, I looked back and I was looking at like how everyone works, because I'm learning too. Like everyone learns differently, works differently. Some people need more, hands-on. Other people are like, leave me alone. I'll call you if I need you. Right. And, and I was like, Carina was only on one live call. She started a week late. She was on one live call, and everything she did from the recordings.
Exactly.
Right? And so and that was so great to see that, because there are people that they want to run their own race that way. And I was like, wow, you did that. And you still did it in 23 days. And so, yep. And I did hear you going bloop, 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 bloop. And that was like, oh, well, Carina's in the deep end and she's going down. But you weren't going down. You were not going down.
I don't think I reached out to you. You just randomly texted me and were like, hey. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm drowning.
That's exactly what happened. What happened. So,
well, and I love the recordings, because then if I had 15 minutes in my schedule, I could go and watch the latest recording. And there in the beginning, when I was trying to catch up, I just went to the group and like okay, I need to know about this subject. I don't need to know about this right now. And I got to kind of pick and choose what I spent my time on and skip the stuff that I, felt like I had under control.
And that was perfect. That was perfect. You did what worked for you. And that's really how this is designed. And I couldn't be more excited for you and this new podcast. I know, I'm as excited as you are. Okay. So the last question is, what did you enjoy most about this process? So I know you had told me this before, that when I said, this is when we launch, you were like, oh my gosh, okay. And that you needed that. I am that way too. And so that's really important to me. But what was your favorite part of the whole journey?
My favorite part was you checking in on me. Honestly. I mean, that was, I even told my husband the other day, I'm going to miss Kamie after my podcast school's over. Just you checking in on me. And I felt like you carried me, through some of it. And that was my favorite part. Totally my favorite part.
Oh, and it was such a joy to work with you. Oh my gosh. And I'm excited to work with you again, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you're going to get to see what kind of student I am.
Yeah. You'll be awesome.
Oh, well, we're going to have a lot of fun. And that's, I think, one of the things about that I'm enjoying the most about podcast school is the connections that I'm making. The new friends, lifelong friends, are made here, where women are meeting each other. They're all in the same place at the same time, supporting each other and rallying to help each other and share ideas, share each other. You guys did a swap, right? An interview swap, and you shared some expert zone of genius on each of your podcasts. Those are the things that light me up, because I want to be the connector and I want to see you guys work together and step into your greatness. And all of you have done that so amazingly. You are invincible. Your podcast is going to be invincible. And I am going to be over here cheering for you and listening every week to your episode. I cannot wait to hear. And it's just been such a joy. Congratulations, Carina.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been one of my biggest achievements in a long time, I think. Just fulfilling the dream that I thought was way down the road, but getting it done in 23 days. Totally awesome. Totally recommend it to anyone that if you are wanting to start a podcast, this is the bomb.
Well, you're the bomb too. And I just am so excited for you. Congratulations. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you were inspired or learned something new, please subscribe to the podcast, give us a review, and share us with your friends. For more information about me and how I can support you, please stop on over to my website at KamieLehmann.com and book a free call with me. I'd love to meet you and learn more about how I can support you.